Anky the Daydreaming Dinosaur, The Lost Egg. This is Anky. Anky is an Ankylosaurus. He lives with his parents, mother and dad, and baby sister, Puka, in the White Plains. In winter, the plains are covered in snow and ice, freezing the leaves and plants Anky likes to eat. Frozen leaves give Anky a brain chill. To reach the higher leaves that aren't frozen, Anky climbs on Dad's back. Ankylosaurs have tough skin on their back, like an armour, which protects them from falling fruit. Anky is not like other dinosaurs. He has a special gift. Anky can see into the future. When a purple tear comes to Anky's eye, he sees a flash of the future. He calls them daydreams. One day, while waiting for Mother to get her hair done, Anky had a daydream. A purple tear formed in Anky's eye. Even though the sun was shining outside, in his mind, Anky saw a big thunderstorm. "There's a big storm coming," Anky told Mother. Mother looked outside but only saw sunny blue skies. Sure enough, as they walked home, a thunderstorm cracked overhead. By the time they were home, Mother's new hairstyle looked like a pterodactyl's nest. Anky's favourite game to play with Dad is rock and tail. One day while playing, Anky had a daydream showing him where to find some delicious ferns. Anky threw his rock over Dad's head, leading them directly to the delicious ferns in his daydream. Anky pretended to be surprised, even though he knew about the hidden ferns all along. Ferns are Dad's favourite food of all. That night his family feasted on ferns until their bellies were full, and all thanks to Anky's daydream. Today, while drinking from the stream, Anky has a daydream. He sees Puka crying and holding a pale green egg. Puka often cries, but never about eggs. Eggs are her favourite food. That night, Mother makes Puka's favourite food for dinner, eggs. Anky grabs Puka's egg and throws it as hard as he can into the dark night sky. Puka begins to cry, just like in Anky's daydream. "Oops," sighs Anky. "What will your sister eat now?" asks Anky's angry mother. "You'll have to go and find more food." It's dark outside and Anky is scared, but he knows Puka needs to eat dinner. As Anky searches for food, he spots Puka's egg. Suddenly the egg hatches a baby T-Rex. This is what his daydream was about, saving Puka from a baby T-Rex. Hearing her baby's cries, Mother T-Rex stomps in, startling Anky. He didn't daydream this part. Anky springs out of the way, landing on an icy glacier. Anky slips and slides on the ice. He slides so far and so fast that he thought he would never stop. And then he stops. Anky's glad his ride is over until he hears the squawk of a Pteranodon. Down swoops a Pteranodon, taking a peck at Anky's back. But Anky's protected by his tough skin. "Ouch!" yells the Pteranodon, flying away with a very sore beak. When Anky opens his eyes, the Pteranodon is gone, but around him are two furry arms. "Oh no, what now?" "Easy, little fella," says a voice. "I may be big, but I'm not going to hurt you. My name's Dippy." Anky looks up to see Dippy the Pteranodon. "You look like a giant wombat," says Anky. "And you look a little lost," Dippy replies. "I bet you're hungry too," Dippy says, and reaches high into a tree to pick some berries. But when Anky goes to eat a berry, he finds another mouth joining him for a bite. "Who are you and why are you stealing my treats?" Anky asks the owner of the other mouth. "I am Shishi," chortles Shishi, a beautiful Shishianicus. "I love berries," she says. Anky had never had a berry before, but agreed they were delicious. Screech! The Pteranodon is back, and he's brought a friend. Scared, the three new pals race into a nearby cave, but Dippy is too big to fit inside. "Ouch!" he cries as the Pteranodons nip at his bottom. Anky knows it's his turn to rescue Dippy, and bravely protects him with his armoured back. "Ouch!" cry the Pteranodons as they hit Anky's tough back and fly away. "We have to run now," says Anky. And run they do, straight into a field of Trampodon lily pads. Suddenly, Shishi, Dippy and Anky are launched high into the sky. When they fall back onto the lily pads, they shoot into the air again. "We're bouncing!" Shishi laughs, springing on the lily pad trampolines. "How do we stop bouncing?" shouts Anky, after what seems to be an awful lot of bouncing. "Look, there's a clearing," Shishi says. "Let's go that way." And so they leap, jump and somersault to the clearing. Thud! I should have known that would happen, Anky grumbles. How could you have possibly have known? Shishi asks. Even though nobody had believed him before, Anky tells his friends about his daydreams. Sometimes, he says, lowering his voice, I can see the future. Before long, Anky has Dippy and Shishi enchanted with tales of his daydream adventures. As they chat and laugh, Anky's eyes wander to a small ledge high up on the cliff. Tucked in the ledge is an egg. Puka! Anky yells, remembering he was really supposed to be getting dinner for his hungry little sister. I need to get that egg. Dippy and Shishi look up the egg worriedly. I am big and tall, but even I can't reach up there, Dippy says. I have feathers, but I can't fly, Shishi says. Then right before their eyes, Dippy and Shishi see a single purple tear form on Anky's cheek. I think he's having a daydream, says Dippy. Thanks to his daydream, Anky knows a Pteranodon lily pad is the answer. He places it at the bottom of the cliff, directly under the egg. Shishi, stand carefully on the Pteranodon, Anky instructs as he climbs onto Dippy's shoulders. Anky dives from Dippy's shoulders and lands with a thud on the lily pad, flinging Shishi high up in the air. I'm flying! Yells Shishi as she sails up to the egg and snatches it from the cliff face. Now we just have to get the egg to your sister, says Dippy as he places it safely into his pouch. Where do you live? The White Plains, Anky tells him. Dippy looks down to the valley below. That's across the wide river, he says. The wide river is so wide that not even Dippy could cross it without help. If only we were friends with those Pteranodons, Anky says, then they could fly us across the river. Thankfully, Shishi has a more practical solution. Do you ever play Rock and Tail, Anky? Shishi asks. Anky nods. It's my favourite game, but I've never hit a rock that far before. Shishi pulls a long hanging vine from a nearby tree. Then she picks up a rock and ties it to the vine. Anky swings his tail with all his might. My friends believe in me, he thinks to himself, as the rock hurtles towards them. Thwack! Anky swings and hits the rock with his tail. The vine flies far across the river and wraps around a tree stump on the other side. Anky, you did it! They cheer. One by one they climb along the vine to the other side of the river. Last of all is Dippy. Dippy is also the heaviest, and the vine sags as he climbs across, drenching him in cold water. As he reaches the riverbank, Dippy begins to cry. I'm always the biggest. I never fit in, Dippy sobs. If you weren't the biggest, Anky says, how would we have been able to reach the berries? Shishi nods in agreement. If you weren't the biggest, how would I have flown so high? Dippy smiles. I guess being the biggest can be a good thing. After much walking, the three friends come to a narrow path between two mountains. The path leads to where Dippy and Shishi live. I can see the White Plains from here, says Anky gratefully. Then I guess this is where we say goodbye, Dippy says, handing Puka's egg to his dinosaur pal. Goodbye, Anky, and good luck, Shishi says. Thank you for sharing your daydreams with us. And thanks for believing in me, Anky replies. I'm going to miss you both. Anky hugs his friends goodbye, and they part ways. Anky has barely left Dippy and Shishi when it happens again. A purple tear forms in his eye. In this daydream, Anky sees something scary. Anky quickly turns to warn his friends. Stop! He shouts. Hearing Anky's cries, they stop in their tracks. Suddenly the sky lights up as a meteor crashes to Earth, landing between the two mountains. It barely misses Dippy and Shishi. You saved us, Anky! Shishi exclaims. Dippy looks at the pile of steaming boulders where their path home had been. How do we get home now? He asks. You'll just have to come home with me, says Anky. Just as the sun is rising, the three friends arrive at the clearing in the forest where Anky lives. Anky's whole family is waiting for him. Mother runs to Anky and gives him a big hug. Where have you been? Cries Mother, and Anky can't tell if she's happy or sad or angry. He was getting this, Dippy says, handing Mother the egg. These are my friends Dippy and Shishi, says Anky. They helped me get Puka's dinner. Anky's proud parents hug him tightly. It'll have to be Puka's breakfast now, laughs Dad. Anky's family make his friends a huge breakfast feast with treats from near and far. Puka eats eggs, Dippy eats forest fruits, and Anky and Shishi eat berries. As a purple tear forms in Anky's eye, he sees a future full of fun adventures for him and his friends.